1:38 a.m. Time for Octoberpod.
I grew up in a very rural, deeply religious area. A small town bound by mountains to one side and a good-sized river on the other. I grew up in an age before the internet and fed myself on a steady diet of B-movies and VHS from the local mom-and-pop video store. It was during the height of satanic panic. There was no Snopes to consult for fact-checking. All the contemporary lore I'd heard came from the mouths of other school children. These tales were therefore taken as God's truth. Now, keep in mind, in this community, the devil is no metaphor. The devil is real as you or I, and as close as the demon that now stands, unseen, just over your shoulder. Churches held regular tent revivals where dynamic young preachers would guest lecture on the very vividly described nature of hell. Preachers who, in their zeal to save souls, came off as having more faith in... But I digress. Every Halloween, stories began to circulate about the Black Church. The story goes that on a mountain near our town, I won't name it, there's an old, abandoned, one-room church that's been taken over by a satanic cult. They painted the walls black, thus the name, and vandalized the remains of the altar and anything containing scripture or images of Christ. At these black masses, the cult would play satanic heavy metal music. Now, this little detail may sound corny today, but to middle school kids who were told that AC/DC stood for After Christ the Devil Comes, and KISS stood for Knights in Satan's Service, this detail rang true. The Black Church cult was blamed for all sorts of dreadful deeds of darkness, like stealing house pets, especially black cats, burying them up to their necks and running over them with lawnmowers. Most terrifying of all, we were told that on Halloween night, they'd round up all the blonde-haired, blue-eyed boys they could and sacrifice them to the devil. This always sent kids into a panic, especially blonde-haired, blue-eyed boys. One year, the hysteria reached a fever pitch. So many kids were upset that the guidance counselor called an emergency assembly to tell the kids there was nothing to fear. The nurse's office was full, and several kids had to be sent home early. As an adult, it's easy to see that the story is nonsense and probably cobbled together from dozens of other similar urban legends. Still, whenever someone disappears in the woods while hunting or fishing, or if a body turns up on a local trail, which is not uncommon, it's hard not to wonder whether they ran afoul of the Black Church cult. On the next Octoberpod, blood money.